Caribbean, how you doing? Yeah, Xrey is definitely stepping in for Captain Ability, who's out doing his duties. And like every time talking points is always interesting. I want everyone to get close to your radio right now. Tell them to turn it up, because this morning is going to be fire! Uncensored, right?
UFC.
Yeah, this morning we got I got some guests in the house that is no stranger to SOS, no stranger to being around with the Xrey. And of course, yesterday we had a very interesting topic here with our ex-Minister of Education and Sports from the southern side, Brother Arundel. We're talking about the Treaty of Concordia, which a lot of people meet me on the street, and I think we need a encore, but from a different perspective, more or less. But just a continuation of yesterday's program to give more info, to edify more about the Treaty of Concordia and how we can work around it and make it a reality for us as a people of St. Martin. And without any further ado, gentlemen, good morning to you, patriot. Good morning to you. Also,
the old man,
the veteran.
The veteran. Good morning to the people of St. Martin. Good morning, Xrey. Good morning to your listeners here on the island and all around the globe.
Yes.
In the universe.
Yes, I know. I harass you guys a lot, but
it's okay.
I had to do it because we need to inform the people. We need to get the people to understand where we at, what we're going, where we're going, and not to make a mistake that we make in the past. So I find upon myself to beg you guys to come in here again.
Actually,
thank you.
You're welcome. But today, it's going to be very strange, and I have to say this. He's a partner, and an old man, a partner, but today he get licked away.
Yeah, get licked away.
Because something ain't going right.
Okay.
Now, we know that they had invited him to the new parliament meeting.
Yeah.
But I was told that somebody bought him out. So I want to ask him this question.
Oh yeah? There's a rumor going on there.
Was you bought out?
you jumping at one time, eh?
I want to know what's going on here.
This is youthfulness. You understand? I always tell a man, take it easy, relax, put things in perspective first, right?
Yes.
So, again, let me say good morning to you, Xrey.
Good morning.
Good morning to all your listeners. And I want to say a special good morning to Mr. Billy Hamlet, who is now in France.
Yeah.
I think he's doing a great job, and this wouldn't have been possible, us sitting here, right, if it wasn't for Mr. Billy D. Hamlet. So I want to say, Billy D, I know you're listening. Thank you very much, and a good afternoon to you there in France, and hope to see you soon again, Billy D.
Yeah, but before you go to that question that the Patriot want to get at you so bad.
The Patriot can say what he wants. Yeah.
I want to say hit a little bit on the treaty. We're going to come back to that. Because I know you want to get at me.
But Patriot is like a young dog,
Yeah. Ready to attack.
Yeah, he's ready to attack.
Yeah.
He don't know, I'm an old dog. I've been around for a long time.
Right.
You understand? And I expect him to attack.
Yeah.
Right? And I think he's been nice to me,
But
so far.
I promise the folks that I'm going to come back on the Treaty of Concordia.
Absolutely.
Which you got a knowledge of the Concordia Treaty.
Sure.
And,
okay.
So.
But I'm eager too.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm eager because, I have been around for a very, very long time. That's why I'm an old man, and from the time I came back to St. Martin, which is my native country in 1981, I have been speaking out, to make St. Martin aware of their situation and of the future. So everything that's playing out now, is a scenario that basically one of the scenarios that I expected, if we did not step up to the plate, and claim, ownership of this country. So nothing is new to me at all. I was considered to be crazy, you name it, and what have you, right? Now we have a minister come to the registration, and basically surrendered in the end in saying, well, you all got a point and maybe we should talk. Okay, let me start by putting it in perspective. First of all, when it comes to the minister, I hope she's listening, I know the minister very well. That means to say she was, one of my students in the past when I was director of the Buddhist College. And I have been, privy to her intellectual abilities. And I must commend her that as a student, Rhoda was always a very outstanding student. There is no maybe about that. Very outstanding, very, very conscious, very outspoken. So I am not at all surprised by the fact that she has quite an ability to defend herself. But having said all of that, listening to I call her Rhoda, not disrespectful, but because I'll always be the teacher, nevertheless, right? You call a minister, whether no minister anymore, I'm still a teacher, and she's still basically a student of mine, former student. Listening to her, it was like listening to all the other politicians, and it just confirmed in my mind once more that all our politicians, and who doesn't fall under that category, can feel free to rebut what I'm saying, by calling in, or by challenging me, for a debate or whatever. I'm available for that. But what I come to realize is that politicians on St. Martin are not part of our problem. They are the problem. They are the problem. In all the information that Rhoda gave, she just confirmed that to me. And with that I mean, in general, right, that our politicians, when it comes to St. Martin people, they throw St. Martin people under the bus, period, right? Because we notice that our politicians, when it comes to foreigners, when it comes to immigrants, right, everything goes. Immigrants are allowed to enter this country completely illegally. They are allowed to do whatever they're doing, illegally, whether it's setting up business on the side of the road or whatever, gypsy, whatever. So they come and they set the new tone of this country, and that's fine, right? What our politicians do, instead of living up to their own laws, and here where I have a problem with Minister Roland Duncan, they set laws in the country, and laws in the country have to be respected. That's why we have laws. We have allowed for let's say a type of immigrants to enter our country whose mentality is based on lawlessness, because in their country that's what helps them to get ahead. They are important on St. Martin, and instead of our politicians defending their own laws, they cooperate with these immigrants in breaking the laws, and they reward them ultimately for having broken every law in the land. At the same time, these politicians, when it comes to St. Martin people, and the cries and the concerns and the fears of St. Martin people, the legitimate cries, right? Our politicians use the same law to say, listen, we can't help you all. We just can't help you all because, hey, always some reason why they can't help us. And it was very clear for me in talk and listening to the minister that she was exactly doing the same thing. She was explaining why this can't work and why that can't work, right? Using all kinds of excuses. Now, what would be my position? And I want to make it very clear. I'm not a politician, but that's my thinking. If I'm in charge of our country, I'll do whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes to make sure I protect my people. Period. Right? Now we're talking about the Treaty of Concordia. Right? She makes it very clear. Listen to her tone and everything. She speaks a certain language of a certain group of people, by the way. Right? You can hear it clearly. She's programmed. Right?
Who are those people?
Well, those people know who they are. I'll talk about it later. Don't rush me. Just don't rush me. I'm going to take my time. Yeah? So she's speaking. She's a disciple of a certain group of people. Just listen to her. You know exactly where she's coming from. When you asked her a question, she reacted by asking another question. So she could position herself. You understand? To make clear to you, you don't know what you're talking about because St. Martin's don't exist and culture don't exist because everything changes. Right?
She didn't really say that, though.
Well, let me speak for myself, right? She didn't say that, but that's what she means, period.
Okay.
That's what she means. Yes, because for all of them, St. Martin's don't exist.
Because she even called herself. She said
they mix up. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They are the problem. They are mixed up. They are confused, totally confused. You see, when it's convenient to use a word, when they realize they're being pushed in a corner, right? That you got to be careful. Hey, you have some people who listen to me. Then okay, yeah, blah blah. You understand? But they are not up. The very fact that when they went into this so-called new status, their point of departure was not the Samaritan people. That means alone, right there, that they had thrown Samaritan people under the bus, right? She made a few interesting comments too. She said, for instance, that the Treaty of Concordia was not made for us because our ancestors then, and her words, were considered to be basically, the goods, of the colonial, powers. Fine, okay, I can go along with that. But if you know that the Treaty of Concordia was not made for Samaritan people, according to you, right? If you look at the constitution that we have right now on the southern side of the island, is that for Samaritan people? The constitution doesn't use one word, Samaritaners. It talks basically about Dutch citizens. So that is a colonial, so that the constitution is colonial again. But the interesting part of this constitution is written by our own people. Our people who now say, right, that we can't use the Treaty of Concordia because that was colonial, right, and it was done in interest of colonial people. But show me the difference between that and our constitution right now. Our constitution doesn't recognize, let alone protect Samaritan people. You understand? So in that sense alone, it shows that they're worse than our white colonial masters, because I was trying to put it in color. Colonial masters don't have a specific color. They come in all colors, believe me. And those that have the same colors as us, they are the most dangerous, because we tend not to recognize them for who they are. You understand what I'm saying? So when I listen to the minister, I hear she represents the government, she represents the politicians, she represents the political body, who basically have betrayed Samaritan people, who, period, have thrown them under the bus, because clearly they are not out to find a way to defend Samaritan people. Now, as far as the Treaty of Concordia is concerned, right, whether or not that was done for us, or is applicable, whatever you want to, however you want to see it. My point is, right, I would have expected from a government that really cares about Samaritan people that you use any treaty. It's the Treaty of Concordia, the Treaty of Rome, the Treaty of China, the Treaty of the Moon, the Treaty of Mars. You do whatever it takes to defend Samaritan people. Because if you, listen, right now Samaritan people are confronted with their very demise as a people, extinction. Right? If you read the papers today, the editorial of the Herald again, where it focuses on the fact that Samaritan people are a tremendous small minority numerically at the moment on the island. Right? It's clear that if we are not protected, if nothing is done, it is over. So for us, it's not a luxury. I realize that as far as our government is concerned, all politicians, all of them, they are waging war against my people, my Samaritan people. And I promise them one thing. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to wage war back on them, period, by all means necessary. You see, because you cannot destroy a people. You don't have the right to destroy a nation. Our ancestors, they shed blood, sweat, and tears for us to inherit this country. You understand? And we are not even saying, we never said that there's no place for immigrants. We never said that, and we will not say it. But you cannot build a country and completely ignore, turn your back, and throw your own native population under the bus. You understand? And then there's something very interesting too when they talk about the numbers, where they focus on the fact that, the Spanish group, the Hispanics, the Haitians and Jamaicans, whatever, they make up right now the majority of people basically on the whole island. And the Herald newspaper, the editorial, basically said that's something we have to get accustomed to. I'm going to tell you one thing. Those numbers mean nothing to me. I'll tell you why. At a certain moment, you could have, a lot of immigrants on this country. But at a given moment, if there is nothing bonding them together to this country, they're going to fight each other. Period. You understand? So all those Haitians, those Santo Domingo people living here, it means nothing, because eventually what's going to happen, they're going to fight each other. I mean, the proof of that is just go to Hispaniola. In Hispaniola, there's one island divided into two countries, Haiti and the Dominican Republic. There's always wars. Haitians and Dominicanos cannot live together with each other, period. There's a historical, racial divide between them, and it's deep. It's deep. Anybody who goes to Santo Domingo knows how they think about Haitians, period. You understand what I'm saying? So when you look at the situation here in St. Martin, if they think they can run this country, if our government thinks that because they have the numbers and we don't have the numbers, that they can run this country and create a peaceful society, that's a fallacy. And there's where we come in as a people, because we as a native people, we can create the foundation, right, the core, to which all the others can bond, and from which you can really, have an interaction, and create a new St. Martin nation.
But when you say now that it's really fall in the sense of there goes St. Martin people fighting against St. Martin people now again.
In what sense?
In a sense of when you just say the government raising wars against the St. Martin people, and you're going to tell them straight up, you're going to raise wars against them too.
So what's wrong with that? So what's wrong with that?
There goes St. Martin people fighting St. Martin people. Divide, conquer, and rule. Well,
I see differently. I think, a nation has the right, not only the right, the obligation to defend itself. And if you have, unfortunately, some of your own people, because they have gone astray and they have sold out, they have sold out their country, that don't mean to say that because you are one and the same people, basically, that you have to go along with being wiped out. If that's the case, you got to do what you got to do.
My question to you is this. I notice you have a problem with the Minister of Justice. What is your major problem with him?
You want a fight, right?
I want to know, because you're always jumping on this man. What did this man do you?
I don't jump on people. I expose people jumping on themselves.
Okay.
You understand? Because he ends up out with his foot in his mouth, right? With his foot in his mouth, in the sense that he knows what you're doing is ridiculous. As a matter of fact, there's something I want to say about Mr. Roland Duncan, and I hope he's listening. It was, I think, I'm not sure exactly, I don't have the information here, but I think it was back in 2005, I think it was. We had asked for a meeting with him. And we had a meeting with him. It was, Beige was there, Beige Richardson. Jesse was there. Another gentleman was there, and myself. We had asked that meeting with the minister in order to explain to the minister and share with the minister an idea that we have, a concept that we have, that we worked out, in reasonable detail, where it would be possible to find a win-win situation for the main stakeholders on the island. The main stakeholders being the natives of this country, immigrants and naturalized people, government, and foreign investors. For us, those were the main stakeholders. So we told them that we have an idea, because we saw back then constantly where, we would get serious problems on the island if we did not recognize that these groups had their own concerns and their own interests, which could be of a conflicting nature. So we had created a plan that would result in a win-win situation between all these groups. We had a meeting with the minister, and he was typical, the minister. His whole body language was arrogant. He didn't sit on a chair, he sat on a table, because who are we? You don't have to show no respect, And at a given moment, he told us, he challenged us, okay, put it on paper. Put it on paper and send it to me. I think it was the next day, I had it ready in a booklet form, because this is something that I have been busy with for years. It doesn't take any time for me. Put it in a book form, and I brought it to the ministry. At that time, not the ministry, at his office. At that time, his office was located in the Brooks building. I gave it there to his secretary. to the secretary, right? And told her, okay, please hand it over to the minister. He asked for it, and we look forward to hear from him, if he received it, and we are open to have a discussion to see if we can, have a debate, and if necessary, make adjustments. He never responded. He never, and this is what I have a problem with that arrogance. Because we are St. Martin people now.
Only last
Sure.
We expect a call from
Okay, good.
from Billy D. Somebody said that.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay. Hello, good morning, caller. Hello. Hello, good morning. Okay, we lose that call.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying to put in context the problem I have with the minister, right? The arrogance towards St. Martin people, the arrogance of not even answering what you asked for. You asked us to deliver, put on paper our concept and drop it off at your office. He never even answered, right? That, okay, I received it. Never acknowledged because, hey, you don't have to do it. In the meantime, we see the island going from bad to worse because nobody addressing those issues. And those are very difficult, complex, sensitive issues, and that's why nobody addresses them. We took it upon ourselves, take the risk to address them in the hope to find a win-win for everybody. We call it the Marshall Plan, right? We even made a presentation of that Marshall Plan, to the Island Council back, I don't know what year it was, to tell the truth. And I think all the Island Council members were there, and they were very impressed. They were very impressed, but basically nothing came out of that. Yeah. You understand? I remember even, Franz Richardson saying, and he can respond. He said when I made a presentation, he said, "Why I wish the media was here to hear how good this idea is." Maria Bonkamper, she was also a commissioner at the time, one of my former students. She told me, "This is so good, why don't you introduce it at school?" And that was the end of their involvement. I'm saying if this idea had come from a white Dutch consultant, he would get highly paid for it, right? And it would have been taken seriously. But it comes from a little grassroots group of people, of blacks and Martin people, so we ain't got to worry with them. In the meantime, the country is going from bad to worse. You understand? And here is where I have a problem with this gentleman. Because what he does, he's Minister of Justice, right? And what he does, he undermines the justice system itself. Because he has said, when it comes to the immigrants, we all know the immigration situation on St. is the biggest problem, period.
Yes.
All problems are derived from that, whether it's to everything.
Everything. Because
there is a weight on the island in many ways, psychologically, infrastructurally, however you turn it. So you have to address it one way or the other. The way he addressed it is to allow for immigrants to come here. First, they came with the idea of the BTA. BTA will take care of this problem now once and forever. When last you hear about the BTA? When last you hear them really deport anybody illegally here? As a matter of fact, I heard the minister myself say, all right, read in the paper for sure, that, he is not going to deport anybody because people have the right to, to maintain their family ties, etc., etc. Now, that opens the door to immigrants abroad because everybody listening and looking what happened in St. Martin to continue coming in St. Martin because, once they're on St. Martin, that's it.
That's it.
They get all the rights of St. Martin people, right? So he is inviting more people. He's undermining his own ministry, basically, undermine it.
So Martin will take on the whole world.
We're going to take on the whole world. At the same time, and I confront the minister on this, basically, we are saying, okay, if you want to take on the whole world, go outside of the universe, bring on other aliens too, no problem. But at a given moment, you have to bring balance in that equation. You are going to have to compensate St. Martiners, for being, you have to offset that disadvantage done to St. Martin people. You have to offset it. And there is where the minister, fails. Clearly, he doesn't worry about St. Martiners. They don't know who's a St. Martiner. They say they don't know who's a St. Martiner. So when the minister come here yesterday and talk about St. Martiners, do you believe in St. Martiners? Yes or no? Don't talk out of two corners of your mouth.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And here's where I have a problem, and here is where we are saying, unless there is justice, there will never be peace. As long as there is injustice done to the St. Martin people, which is being done and perpetrated systematically, there will never be peace. Yeah. It's simple as that. So people can want to build whatever economy they want, it's not going to work.
My question to you is this. Yesterday we had the former Minister of Education, she said she's willing to sit down and talk. Why do you think at this stage now they are willing to talk, and back then when it was even more better for us to accomplish our mission, they wasn't willing to talk then? Why do you think so?
Well, I don't want to get in the minister's mind, because I'm so smart. She's so smart, So I don't want to get in her mind, in terms of the reason why, she would like to talk. I have an idea. But for me, that's irrelevant. What is relevant is, that you want to talk.
Okay.
That you want to talk, I mean, we knew that this would happen sooner or later anyhow. Because we knew, common sense told us, listen, there ain't no way you can ignore your people. There ain't no way they're going to catch up with you sooner or later. Even the immigrants right now, we have a lot of positive immigrants. It's not that they're bad. Absolutely not. We have a lot of naturalized people. They are feeling very insecure because there is no structural basis for the development of this country. And they know if government treats its own natives like that, it's only a matter of time before they treat them like that. You see? So it's becoming obvious now that we have a problem. You see? And they realize it too, government realizes too, that they have a problem. And I have to commend you, Patriot, for calling in. It was very, very good. You call in, from the time you call in, you could sense the minister swallowing, because she realized she got come good now. Because she realized, listen, some people getting very fed up with government. And don't come with no nonsense and don't come with no crap. Because our livelihood, our existence as a people, and that of our future is at stake. So then she changed her tone and everything else. So when she says they are willing to talk, I'm saying, because we got an invitation, as a matter of fact, a number of years ago from Mr. William Martin, who told me, he sent me an email, that he wants to talk, etc. So I told him, there's no problem, we are always willing to talk. You understand? But one thing we are not interested in talking about is whether or not semantic will exist. Right? So when we're going to talk, let's set the agenda, what we're going to talk about, because I don't want to waste their time, because they're very important people. I don't want to waste their time. But guess what? I don't want them to waste my time either. You understand? I'm talking to no government or nobody for talking's sake. You understand? Because, as I said, what is very important in negotiating with people, in general, is knowing your own strength. We know our strength. That's why I explained, yesterday and last week, Monday, the importance of realizing who you are. Realizing that you are in the first place. You understand? And realizing that you are as a people, and who you are as a people, and what your ambitions and aspirations are as a people. Once you know that, right, you can negotiate with people. Then you're ready to sit down and talk to people. Not when you're weak.
Okay, we're going to open up the line now and give the folks opportunity to call and be a part of the conversation, just in case you want to be a part of it. You can call up right now on Talking Point. Also, we expected a call from Billy the Captain D. So he's in France right now. Give us an update on what's happening over there in France with their trip. Okay? And so you can go ahead and call. Patriot, you asked a question when you started.
I was told, by my resources that the boy I want to know, I'm a boy, but I'm afraid now. So I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Were you bought out?
Let me put it this, Patriot. Since you getting so bad now, right? I insist that you do your research. I insist that you do your research, right? And if you find just the slightest hint, not even the proof, just a hint, the scent that I get bought out, or when you bring it to the public, bring it here, right, and have me condemned and fired as president of the movement. If you don't do that, I can fire you.
That's a challenge.
Yeah? So I don't need no proof, just the scent. If there's a scent that I get money from those people, just a scent, huh? Bring it on.
Good. Okay. So my next question is.
So that's. I give you homework. Huh?
Well, of course.
Check it out.
I'm going to dig it out. I'm going to dig deep.
Dig it out.
And if I find any sense, I'm coming for you.
Come for me.
I mean it.
Come for me.
Good.
And take over my position.
Okay. No, I don't have to bring it down because then you're a traitor too, and we cannot allow that. Whether friendship or no friend.
Listen. If you don't, listen, because I believe and I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your love for me. But your love for me and your friendship for me has to be subordinate, right, to your loyalty to a case bigger than our friendship.
And that's the whole point.
And that cause is the cause of
St. Martin, definitely.
So be careful I don't set you up, that you fall in my trap, and you put your loyalty to me higher than the loyalty to St. Martin, because then I go fire you.
That will never happen.
Then I go fire you.
That will never happen.
I demand of all the listeners too, I've always been an open book. Anytime you see or you hear that I did something that really structurally and as a matter of principle goes against the nation building foundation, just make it public. Make it public.
We got a call coming in here. Let me see. Maybe this person knows.
Yes, make it public.
Let's see this person. Hello, good morning, caller.
And Mr. James, I like the answer between them as well. So of importance to me is, I think the Nation Building Foundation had a meeting with Xrey. Nobody said about that.
With who? With who?
Why you always talk?
What who you say? What who had a meeting with?
Oh, boy, it's a pity.
Link call back, please.
Yeah, caller. Can you please call back? A meeting with someone you say, but we didn't understand exactly who you said they had a meeting with. So call back and there is a.
While we're here too, I want you to explain to me why you think that the native people of the St. Martin heritage need special privileges.
Hold on, I think he called back. Hello, good morning, caller. Hello, good morning.
They had a meeting with the SHC.
Okay.
Or SHC.
Meeting with the SHC, and nobody here watching over that meeting.
Okay, thanks.
That's good. Okay, I think that's a very valid question, and I have to apologize. I take full responsibility for basically not updating the people. I'm not going to explain why, but I think it's important though. We still can do it, right? Both of you all were there. And that's the nice thing. That's the way I operate.
Yeah, I was there.
I basically never go alone.
Yeah,
so you can see how much I sell out the country.
Yeah, I was there also.
So maybe you can briefly give a little synopsis of what happened, and still, in due time, make a report, so the public know what happened. But in the meantime, I apologize, for us not having done that yet, to tell the truth.
But we did touch on it briefly.
No, but I believe it's not my style, because my style is to report.
No, we can't do it openly. So
yes.
Listen,
and writing.
In fact, it was a good meeting and something for St. Martin people and St. Martin behalf. So we definitely, in time, we will make a report on that. That's no problem at all.
So maybe you can explain the person, the way I kind of presided.
Okay, the main purpose of that meeting was that how we as people of St. Martin heritage can play the lead role in bonding all the other cultures in St. Martin as to make St. Martin work more better. But most of all, that we have our own ideas. We are not looking for nobody, no help for them to come up with their own ideas. We're going to assess them to make St. Martin better for all people, whether it's deal with financial matters and for people living in harmony in St. Martin. That was basically a short concept of having a meeting of the SHCA.
I think what's important, I think that's very important, because here you have Leopold James, always a big mouth, right? And I was basically the delegation leader because I called for that meeting, basically. I think it's important to share with the listeners how you felt that I presented the cause of St. Martin people. So maybe you can say to us, you were there.
For the listeners, that was one of the strongest meetings that I went to in a while. I was very, very surprised of the stakeholders in St. Martin, of the people that run this country. This meeting was concerning all the hotel owners and the big businesses owners. And the first time I've been in a surrounding with them, and for the way that you, Leopold, that's where I started gaining my respect for you. I'll never tell you, but I'll tell you for the record now. I gained my respect there for you that day when you stand up to those people and tell them that all what they're talking there don't make no sense to you, because you don't see what St. Martin people fit in what they're talking, and whatever they're doing, they ain't saying St. Martin yet. Whatever they achieved over the years, St. Martin people still being left out. And there's where I started giving my respect for you, the way you handle those so-called money people then.
But very more important to it, they was asked if we have our own plan, and then we tell them, of course, we want to be the main instigators in helping you bringing the so-called financial awareness and financial opportunities to St. Martin people also, along with our investors. And we have our own plan, so we're not depending on their plan. And they were shocked too, because they thought we would come basically looking for handouts, and we tell them absolutely not. We come with ideas to make it work for all interests in St. Martin, but mainly the people of St. Martin interest.
What I think is very important, that's why I took you all along, so you can confirm whether I'm telling the truth or not.
Yes. Okay.
I always say, I, Leopold, I'm a proud St. Martin without apologies. I negotiate only on basis of strength, period. I don't care who the other partner is. I could care less. That is something that emanates from me. Anybody who knows me, who sees me, they could feel that vibe. Just don't get them away when it comes to St. Martin. I made it very clear to the SSTA, extremely clear. And because I made it extremely clear to them, and I lay out up front during the meeting as well, if St. Martin people are not at the core of all developments, you ain't going anywhere. And that was so clear because it was convincing. Once something is convincing, you get people supporting you. You see? And I have to commend highly Emil Lee, president of that body. And I got to apologize to him too, because and I said it during the meeting too.
Yeah, I remember.
I said up front that I had to apologize to him. He didn't even understand where I was coming from. I said, why? That was because for years I was biased. When I hear him talk, I ask myself, but who is you to represent me? Who is you to represent me? Like many Samaritans think, right? And I said, but one thing I realized, because he made a certain statement during the president's speech, which is something that happens every year for the SSTA, he makes certain bold statements that I told him, I personally apologize to you for having had this biased opinion about you. And I hope you accept my apologies. And he was surprised, because I'm like this. My apologizing, if I do something wrong, who wants to see it as a sign of weakness? Beware. For me, that's the basis for me to continue being strong. Because I cannot be strong if I know I was wrong. I will get it out of the way first, which I did during the meeting. I got it out of the way. And then I make it very clear to them, this is St. Martin. If St. Martin people are not directly involved at the core of every development, it's not going anywhere whatsoever. And here's where I have to apologize again, because he contacted me. He did ask us during the meeting to come with a plan in terms of how we would like to get involved. But I have been so tied up and whatever that I didn't manage to do it as yet. So I apologize to him. And we still have to do that. So I think the question from the caller is very legitimate, because I feel that as a movement making public statements, we have to give an account as well.
That's correct.
Because we ask others to give an account too. So we are also accountable for what we are saying and what we do. So we have no problem that people question us, critically, to give an account, because I think we have to give an account. So I want to thank the listener, and I hope in due time we'll be able, because there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work to be done.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you see, what we have to realize is that while we as St. Martin people are sitting back and just looking and waiting, people who come here, they're not sitting back. They're moving.
But what it proves, and that's why, again, I personally take responsibility for not having presented our plan as such. It shows, and this is a powerful organization. These are money people. These are people that bring basically added value to St. Martin. What they have seen is that the way I stand for St. Martin people, guess what? You better deal with Leopold. You understand what I'm saying? So the point is this: we are our biggest enemies, because we don't make ourselves a factor.
That's correct.
And if you don't make yourself a factor, why should somebody waste time with you? Even if you're hurting, that's your problem.
That's correct.
That's your problem.
And you said one time on some other program I had, so much sense, you said a word there that make a lot of sense when you say that we are holding back a lot of people who want to go forward. Because they're waiting for us.
That's true.
They're waiting for us to make a move, and we're making a move.
Absolutely correct. And you want to say something?
But my question was
could I finish this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I think it's very important.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because what we are doing is I love it. Why I love it is because you got to be true to the deal for true.
Real to the deal.
Real to the deal. Because what happened? It's a tough job. You got to have a vision. You got to have wisdom. Because on one hand, you're making sure to protect your own people and make sure your people are protected under all circumstances by having special benefits and privileges, etc., to guarantee that. At the same time, you realize, just a minute, we cannot exclude other people. We have to include people. We have to include those that care for this country, that have added value. And there are so many of those people. And we by not doing what we have to do, we are holding up those people. Because a lot of those people that have a tremendous added value, guess what? They're humble. They're different than other people who have a big mouth and whatever, have no contribution to make. They're humble, and they're waiting for us to set the foundation for a real structural, harmonious development, because they have children who ain't going nowhere either.
You need to take the lead.
Yes, to take the lead. And then once we take the lead, they are going to make there are many of them there. And I address them. We care for you. We care very much for you. And we appreciate that you understand we have to clean up our house first. You can't clean it up for us. We got to do it. You see, and that's what we are trying to do. So we are focusing, on bringing people together, on building the nation, where you preserve your own people, but you include others as well, so that, through interaction at a certain moments, you build and you adjust the St. Martin nation. But at all times, the idea is that at its core, it remains St. Martin.
I have a partner of mine, very critical. He says he like a lot of things we say, but on this issue he disagrees. He wants to know, why do the St. Martin people need special privileges? You want to explain him that?
I think it's logical. I'll explain why. If about 40, 50 years ago, I won't have been fighting for that. And you understand that too, right? Why? Because the only St. Martin people live here, basically. No need for any special privileges. Special privilege ain't a bad word, Right? So then you won't need it, because all St. Martins had opportunities to develop in their country. There was no threat to their existence as a people. But more and more, St. Martins are becoming a minority in terms of numbers on the island. On top of that, others are getting the same rights as us. So by virtue of their numbers, they are destroying us. We are becoming a victim of a genocide. Genocide means, a replacement. In this case, is not a bloody replacement, but the results will be the same. We will not be there any longer as a people. You see? So it's clear that when you have a society, running society, and developing a country, you have different elements and different demographics, right? And the trick is to keep the balance. It's a dynamic process, right? Keep the balance. When you add something to one part of the scale, when you allow for one, set of stakeholders to get certain benefits, like immigrants, you give them amnesty over and over and over and over, that tips the scale, right? Because the others are losing out. So logic tells you that's mathematics. You have to add on the other side of the scale to keep some kind of dynamic balance. In recent times, since the development of St. Martins have not got that. We are just losing out all the time. So that's part of our Marshall Plan, in which we make sure that constantly you try to keep that balance. It's time the St. Martins get an amnesty now. Even with, for instance, the new starters. That's why I said the starters was a betrayal. It's dumb. Right? Because there was nothing else for St. Martin people. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Since the new starters, St. Martins have to compete with all kind of immigrants now. Long time when we were in Antillean Constellation for the southern part of the island, we were all Antillians. We were not a minority. Maybe a minority here, but not in the Antilles, because we were all Antillians. What they did, the Corrales, in a small area, half of an island, and they give everybody the same rights. So, if we don't, it's about justice. If we don't now give St. Martins now something to bring back balance and offset all the disadvantages done to St. Martin people, we will never have peace. You see, so for that reason alone, St. Martin's need to get they need some form of recognition, some form of justice, and that form of justice could be because we become extinct. When animals become extinct, you give them special benefits. You put them in a certain territory where you protect them, you nurture them, you do what. So what about people? What about Samaritan people? How could we talk about Samaritan heritage, Samaritan stone walls, Samaritan, old homes, Samaritan traditional homes? What about the people now? They're part of that notion of our cultural heritage.
Yeah. Tipping point, huh?
It's a tipping point. You see, and there is where I blame the politicians, and there is where we decide we are going to do what we got to do now. Because the politicians are total lost cases, right? So we have to focus on a new generation of politicians, who realize, listen, nobody asked to get rid of all the immigrants, but we asked for a balanced society. There ain't no way, and we're not talking about the importance of history. We are part of this history of this country.
We make a history.
I mean, people came and met us here with a history. They don't have a history here. When people say we're born here, that's crap. You're born here as a person. I'm born here as a nation. Whether I personally was born here or not, my people, of whom I'm part, they were born here right after the slavery ended. That's the birth of the Samaritan nation. So you can't compare your personal relationship with Samaritan because you happen to be born here with the relationship that all people, have with Samaritan, which goes back to just after slavery as a people. They were here even before. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see, so here is where everything is so out of balance. And we have to recondition people. We have to recondition people that St. Martin people were born here already. Whether you personally, Xrey, was born here or not, your people were born here.
And my question, this is very important to me.
I hope it makes sense, I hope, I want to hear what you're saying and what you think.
That's how it is.
If it wasn't making sense, I think you let me know it now. I'll be like a lion all over you.
Good, okay.
But I must say, you give me blows, man. You handle yourself perfectly. But I finished that. No, I don't give up. I don't give up.
Bring it on.
We have 3 political parties in St. Martin. So, but we want to talk about the leadership. You have Theo Helder from the Up Party. You have the Prime Minister, Sir Robert Scott William, and you have now William Marlin from the National Alliance. These 3 individuals have been around for a long time as political leaders from various parties. Be honest with me and the people of St. Martin. Do you really see them make any contribution, not in building wise, but really to the people of St. Martin heritage, in preserving the people of St. Martin heritage? These 3 people have to make any contribution in preserving the people of St. Martin heritage, in your opinion?
I think you didn't get my message still, You still didn't get my message, Because you get my message, you understand who I am. I don't waste time with zombies. I told you that the last time. If you look in the mirror and you see nothing, you're a zombie. I think these people, they look in the mirror, they see nothing. So why should I waste my time talking about them? I'm going to talk with people when they look in the mirror, they see something, right? And so they know that they are there. They know they are. As president of the movement, the grassroots people movement, I'm focused right now on us building ourselves. I'm focused, on us, using jollification to build us. And out of that us, you will get a new generation of leaders. These people, for me, I don't waste my time talking about them. It's not...
so what are you saying, irrelevant?
Totally, as far as I'm concerned. They're irrelevant in terms of they have on suits and they hold a pen and sign off laws. Yes, they're relevant in that. But when it comes to the moral relevance, they're totally irrelevant. You see, because all of them collectively have betrayed St. Martin people, period.
So you think they're a waste then?
Morally, a total waste as far as we are concerned.
Okay.
Totally. So don't bring them up again anymore.
And they haven't bought you out?
Remember I told you? You know what I told you already? I want you to do your homework, If there's a cent, just a cent, right? You don't have to find a dead carcass. If you find a scent that I was bought out, bring it on.
I think I make sure.
Bring it on.
Just check on.
Just bring it on.
Yeah, because the people telling me, make sure.
I said, bring it on. Just a scent.
Okay.
There have to be no proof cells.
We're going to make us a public thing to look into it then.
Yeah. Because
if you all don't look into it, don't invite me anymore.
Okay.
Don't invite me.
You know what? I hear traitors, you know. I hear traitors. You got to come clean with me.
And I like a good fight. If there's no good fight for a cause, look for somebody else. You see, I've been standing up since I came back in 1981. Right? I'm an old man now. Right? I don't need anything. Right? When I was younger and I quote unquote, I never did anything basically, but would have wanted, to play a role in certain positions or whatever. I had the same position in terms of speaking out. So now I get old man, a grandfather. I can change now for a scent. The scent, the smell of those people buying meal. Come again, patriot, please. Come again. Huh?
I need to make sure.
No, but come again. Again, if there's a scent, it don't be true at all. Just a scent, a rumor, just bring it on.
And my final question, pertaining to the year from then to now, have you seen progress in people understanding the importance of recognizing who they are as St. Martin people?
There are so many different ways to measure progress or to measure anything.
Okay.
You can measure directly, or you can measure by the absence of the opposite.
Okay.
Right? There was a time in St. Martin that what I'm doing now, coming to the radio station, give my opinion, which isn't very favorable for the politicians, I won't have made it very far. Right? Now I'm being asked. I'm being asked. I don't have to even, request to be on the I'm being asked to give my opinion. If that isn't, let's say, progress in terms of Samaritan people growing, I don't know. And with that, it doesn't have to be that they agree with me. We saw somebody walking here early this morning, and you saw I dealt with him. Sure, you listening, because he bad, right? Where you say you don't agree with me, blah, 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 blah. Tough guy. And I told him, come in the ring. If you don't come in the ring, just shut your mouth. He listened up so you could call in. He bad, right? Come in the ring. Because if I'm wrong and you beat me up in the ring, I'm going to hug you, I'm going to kiss you, I'm going to love you, because, hey, you win. But if you stay outside the ring, talk what you... and throw rocks, for me, you're completely irrelevant. You understand? So, I enjoy what I'm doing. This is what I do. This is me. This is what I do best. Because I believe in what I'm doing. And I believe our vision for Saman. I truly believe it. You understand? And so I'm doing it with a passion. The thing is, sometimes I do halfway. Well, you all know it. I do it with a passion. You understand? And I thank God that I live to see, that development, that consciousness of people, because a lot of people who have made their contribution as well, they have gone on. And whenever I do something, I do it and I share, with them in mind, because I only could have done what I'm doing, if I, built on what others have done.
On an emotional note, I don't, not to hurt nobody feeling. On an emotional note, you miss your our partner Xrey going prison.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, that goes without saying. As I said, I cried rivers of tears. Rivers of tears. But hey, that's life. Yeah. That's life. And
okay, yeah. We got to close it off now.
Again. You invite me to close off.
Close it off.
That's why you invite me to close off. You don't give me no time to talk.
No time to stay.
I want people to call in.
No, but people are just listening. People are enjoying
I want them to call in and challenge me.
Yeah.
Like the patriot. He challenged me.
There's nothing to challenge you. So we got to close it off. And
anyhow, thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me. And
thank you for coming.
I hope you give me opportunity now to to just do what I was doing, work in my garden, and
you could have the rest of the day for that, though.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay. Patriot, thank you for coming.
You're welcome, and I'm always here to assist the people of St. Martin.
Patriot, thanks for the bills.
No man, you give me the blows.
I don't feel that.
I get blows.
I just see you giving blows. I feel
no man, but I get the blows today. I mean, you really you teach me something
I
about
see you punch me.
who run the show.
You punch me and I feel nothing.
You're truly a master in defending yourself.
I just don't understand it. You're looking like a silent movie. You're punching me. I see you punch. I feel anything whatsoever.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thought we're going to do it here until this afternoon. I'll be back here with you at 6 o'clock with a 5 o'clock talk. Definitely. It's going to be very interesting. And this afternoon, we're going to be talking some music this afternoon, okay? We're going to have 2 artists coming in here this afternoon, and we're going to be going deep down in the music business in St. Martin to see how we are going as a people in the music business. And with that, I'm going to leave you in the capable hand of Big Girls, who's going to be here with